Hello, and nice to have you on the channel, nice to have you on the new video. As a general information, from the title you can see I've worked on some other stuff. I dropped the commission I was working on the last few days, maybe because it became less it didn't fit my usual style anymore, or it didn't fit from the beginning what it was at the point where I was where I just said I don't want and I can't work on this anymore. This is not really down my lane anymore, so I dropped it. That meant I had some time to work on things that I wanted to work on. For example, these new horns that were basically the next thing I wanted to work on when I was done with the aforementioned commission, and I just started doing that as soon as I got the other stuff out of the way. This is a two-part video. I have two different things I worked on. I had a few, but these are the two I want to show you. The first is, as you can see, is a complete work from zero to full thing. The second is an adaptation or rework of something I already made. So one of the things that is really helpful is if you have a few base things ready, you can just easily adapt stuff you want to design. So the horn is really simply, it's a tube. I extruded some of the sides and then I twisted the whole thing and then I brought it into shape. What you won't see on the video, what I did later today, is I actually retouched it. I improved the horn size. I made them basically just bigger or more bulkier, so they are actually they're bigger. You will see at the end on the last render where I put everything I made these last few days into one render, that they are a bit more thick, a bit thicker, a bit more defined than they are right there. So here's the intermediate version. This is how they were at the end of this work step, and this is the second part of the video, which actually takes a lot more time for some. I don't know why. So I redid, basically I did a new hairstyle. I used the base of the buns and retouched it for some parts, and yeah, as you can see there, I basically just added a little bit of detail, you can say, a little bit of single parts on different points where I thought, okay, I want to do this, I don't want these sides to be completely symmetrical, let's just touch it up a bit. So yeah, this was one of the things I did. And then I went ahead and did the thing. So yeah, I've got a thing for curly hair, I've got a thing for longer hair, which is pretty good visible in this work here. The base idea is the same as the long tails. At the first here I redid, where I have different strands coming out from a single tube. But the overall idea on how I worked with these single tubes is a little bit different. So this is basically a mix of curly and also strands. Yeah, most interesting about this was working in the different dimensions, because sometimes I use the selected coordinates from the object, and sometimes I worked with the world coordinates because it was just a bit easier. Also, you will see 2 jumps because the program crashed 2 times when I tried the smoothing in between. Not on this one though, but on the second and on the fourth of the strands, the program, so Hexagon just crashed, and I had to. Luckily, I saved directly before that, so there's basically nothing I had to redo. But I had to restart the program both times, which isn't that big of a problem, but I cut it out nevertheless. So the idea was to create a anime-esque style of hairs with curls that come from the top of the head. And when I finished the product, you will see that I actually went ahead and did 2 different styles of it, because after I implemented the first, or I imported the first in DAS Studio, I just saw that I can that it looks good, it looks as intended, but there are options basically. So I was like, okay, I can improve on that, I can work with that. Yeah, and I did. So I have 2 parts done. I'm working on the third one. The fourth is actually most interesting because it goes in a different direction than the others, so it isn't as intertwined with them as I initially wanted to. And at first I was really at a loss. I was like, okay, how do I do this? Do I redo the whole thing? Do I redo this single strand? I didn't want to redo the whole thing. I was actually pretty happy with how the first to third turned out, so I thought about how do I redo this, and then I noticed another thing, but I'm getting ahead of myself here. So yeah, what else interesting can I talk about right now? Right, I'm at the fourth one, and you see I'm working behind the head, and it goes in quite of a different direction. So I was thinking, okay, do I want to redo that and to move it closer to the body? Do I want to put it somewhere else? Not to the body. Do I want to put it to closer to the other 3 things? And then I got the idea that I still have the colored strand of hair. You see sometimes in between the blue strand of hair and the yellow in the orange hair. And I thought about how can I add this, and I actually went and used a different product I already made, the curls, and I chose 1 single curl out of them and used it as a smaller strand in between those. So there it is. Yeah. So this is actually interesting because I just twisted the lower part, and it automatically twisted the upper part too. So I got basically this curl style in it, with less work than the other parts. And this is where I went and did the texture. This is actually quite interesting because it worked from the beginning as I intended it to, and it worked pretty well. So actually I cut the base in a few parts, as you can see, and I cut each of the strands or streaks in one part. So at the end I have 8 parts, which all are on the same texture. So here are the parts for the base, and these are the 4 strands. Yeah. Yeah, so this is a little bit of detailing it, and at first I wanted to put them in the corner at the bottom, but I was like, okay, wait, if I use a hair with a gradient, this looks weird, so I put them in the middle. So this is the whole idea. This is why they're up there. And what's coming next is the implementation into Dev 3D. Here it goes. My base scene. And at this point I was like, okay, wait, if I pull the sides longer, if I make them longer at the point where they're matching the neck, or close to the neck, this could also look interesting. So I went ahead and put the figure inside. Here's both sides again. So I mirrored this one, and in a few seconds you will see the final results. So here is the short version. Here is the long version. And then you have a render with everything inside. Thanks for watching, and I hope I see you next video.